Tough keeping up to him, huh?
It is tough keeping up to him. Now he wants to go do stairs. That's the worst part of the workout.
It's 7 a.m. and Don Ricks is at the gym with his daughter Laurie. They regularly get together and motivate one another to go the distance. It's all a part of the full and extremely active life of Dr. Donald Ricks. Everything he takes on, he does with complete commitment, and the pace is non-stop, rushing from one meeting to the next, one decision to the next.
I would agree completely.
Whether it's checking out the latest piece of multi-million-dollar equipment or negotiating deals, Don is always on the move. Born in a small rural town just outside of London, Ontario, it was working in his father's pharmacy in the late 40s and 50s that ignited Don's interest in medicine. In the early 50s, he attended the University of Western Ontario and studied medicine, earning his doctorate in 1957. And while there, he played clarinet and tenor sax for the Mustang Band. One night, while performing at a dance, he met the woman who would ultimately bring him to Vancouver and eventually marry him.
My wife's grandparents lived in London, and she came down to visit them. And I played in a dance band, and her girlfriend took her out to one of the high school dances, and I was playing at the dance, and I was introduced to her at that time.
Once here, he knew this is where his heart wanted to stay. He set up practice and became a family doctor. However, after a couple of years, his thirst for learning was such that he wasn't satisfied. He returned to school.
Took pathology training at Vancouver General, got my certificate and my fellowship.
After completing that course, he took a position at Vancouver General Hospital as a pathologist. He's one of the first people to get involved in a new area of medicine, mammography.
It was called xerography at that time. And so we were the first group. I was the pathologist, and there was a radiologist and a surgeon. And we picked up 3 or 4 cases of early cancer of the breast. And so we went over to see the government, about $50,000 to do it the same thing again next year.
To his shock and horror, the government of the day wasn't interested in maintaining the funding for the program.
And at that same time, I got approached by a group of starting up a medical lab on our own, without government support, at the Fairmont Medical Building. And so that was a seminal event in my life.
The lab was costly to set up. Don was working 7 days a week at 2 jobs, one at VGH and the other at his newly founded lab just down the street.
And on the weekends, my mom would go down and clean the lab and do the books for him. And my mom was also a full-time teacher during the week, so they pretty much worked 7 days a week starting the lab.
The early days were tough, but rewarding. Through the 60s and 70s, the company was growing. Then came the high interest rates of the early 1980s.
Quite honestly, we nearly got killed.
It was a very difficult time. There was 5 years that were very difficult. I think like businessmen under that kind of pressure, he looks everywhere for solutions.
He never doubted for a minute that things wouldn't work out. Maybe he had some inner reservations about it, but he certainly never expressed them.
As the company was pulling its way through those tough times, Metro McNair joined up with MDS Laboratories.
We had expanded into Edmonton and Calgary and Regina and Saskatoon, and we're in Winnipeg. And so, and MDS was very strong in Ontario, and we knew some of the players in MDS. And they had the same ideas that we did about the practice of laboratory medicine.
The partnership has been an incredible success. Dr. Ricks is the chairman of the amalgamated company, but he is also the driving force behind many other companies that he is either the chairman of, a board member, or a major investor. Dr. Ricks is seen as one of the founding fathers of the biomedical research community here in British Columbia.
I've been an investor in biotech for a long time, an angel investor on various biotech boards, on the Science Council, Genome BC, stuff like that, because I guess I've been involved in that all along. But I would trace that back really to where it all started was people like Julie Levy and Michael Smith.
Through his vision, leadership, and integrity, Dr. Donald Ricks has created a lasting legacy that will benefit not only the thousands of people who work for the companies he created, but all British Columbians have and will continue to benefit from his incredible generosity.